I don't think Ayton's on the team next year.
Yeah, you've been on this for over a year, and
this is a wrap. I would put your money on they're trading Ayton. I don't think they will pay him. I don't think Sarver is going to go deep into the luxury tax with a team that just fell on its face with what he's seen from Chris Paul. He has no history of doing it. And I think there's probably trades for him. The question for me is like with the kind of the way the West is evolving just as a conference with all of these kind of small ball, you have to switch on everything. You have to be able to play smaller lineups to survive. And these centers are just getting played off the court over and over again. Like, does Ayton even make sense in the way the West is going? Because there's a case where you could say he might not.
Well, in the moment, I always kind of argue that we're terrible at this stuff because last year when they were up 2-0, we were talking about how great Ayton was and Bridges and all this stuff, right? Like we were having these real conversations about how special, how many top 15 players they had and all these kinds of things. And now here we are a year later going, you can't bring them back. Although I do agree with you.
I'm saying you can't bring them back at $30 million a year or whatever it is. I don't think that's a smart financial move if you're also going to pay these other three guys big money.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that Sarver kind of did the opposite of what other guys would do and be like, well, look, if I don't have to pay him anymore, and then if he wants to sign an offer sheet somewhere else, he can sign an offer sheet and do the 4 years, and then we can just match it. I don't know if of the teams that have cap space, there's not that many, and they don't seem like they'd be the kind of places that you'd be super fired up to go play.
Well, I think there was a lot of smoke with the Pacers and Ayton before the deadline. I do think that was being discussed. And, I still think that's possibly in play for him. So I'd watch out for them. They have Turner. There's moves you could make where you could make that a little more financially palatable.
Turner's been in trade rumors for
I know. It's like McCollum. McCollum really? Finally got traded. I can't explain the Booker thing. Booker, 23 in game 1, they win. 30 in game 2, they win. 6 for 13, 18 points in game 3, they lose. 35 in game 4, they lose. 28 in game 5, they win. And then last 2 games, he's 6 for 17 in game 6 and 3 for 14 in game 7. 19 points, 11 points. Not awesome.
Yeah, well, I mean, I at this point with Booker, like I think it was an incredible year, right? I voted him. I had him in my top 5 MVP. I had him first team All NBA, right? Yeah, with Luka. Yeah. But
I had him 4th for MVP.
This will turn into one of those deals where it's like now next year, it's all kind of like applying the rules to how you're allowed to talk about these guys, right? Because next year, like, what's Phoenix going to be? This is what I don't get. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are they going to? No one's going to care about any of it, right? Paul's going to be older. He's going to get hurt again. And Booker, as good as he is, I don't know. Does this mean you reclassify him? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do that to these guys every time they lose a playoff series. But
well, I think some of his contemporaries have just ascended higher than him. I think is at least the one fair thing we can say. That he's a little closer to that Mitchell Towns class of 22 to 25 than he is to the Tatum and all those guys class. But I think heading into these playoffs, I felt him and Tatum, you're looking at those two guys as two like the best young superstars in the league. But now after this, I don't know what to think. Next year, they're on the cap for $129 million next year. That does not include any money for DeAndre Ayton. Devin Booker, 33.8. Chris Paul, 28.4. Bridges is 21. Crowder's 10.1. Shamit's 9.5. Ouch. Saric is 9.2. Campaign's $6 million. I thought they made a mistake going away from Campaign, by the way.
What?
Cam Johnson, 6. I just think Shamit as a point guard is insane. I just would never do that. I would play my 3rd string point guard over Shamit.
Do you think they'll listen to this series? They went to Holiday a little too late.
Yeah. I should have led with that. Why not? I just sham it as a point guard. It's just nuts.
I'm not telling you it's
I'm
great.
not even sure he's good.
I'm not telling you it's great, but I'm just saying, like, the campaign stuff for me drives me crazy because it's like, all right, it's campaign time, and then he just comes in and it's.
Well, they could have used somebody with irrational confidence in today's game. I'll tell you that. I don't really know what the moves are. I guess they could. I mean, they could package Crowder and Saric and, add some, maybe take some bigger contract back if they wanted to, but Sarver has no history of doing that.
I wonder if they would trade Paul.
You think he would go for that?
What if he was like, yeah, this isn't, I'm not saying he wants to do anything. I just wonder if they'd be like, hey, do you want to go somewhere else now?
All right, let's flip this around. What would be your dream scenario for Chris Paul's next destination?
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, interesting.
That was where he supposedly was trying to get angled to, but now it doesn't matter because they have Drew. So it's not going to happen. I would not want to see him join the Lakers in that shit show.
You don't think I can't rule this out. I don't think this will happen, but I'm just, given Sarver's history, I cannot rule it out. You don't think there's a chance they would trade Chris, trade Ayton, and do a reboot? Just be like, we missed our window?
I think Sarver's
I think it has to be in play with him, right?
Yeah, I think he would be willing to do anything. And this is, I'm just double checking the contract here for Paul. So he goes to 28.4
and 30.8.
Right. And then that fourth year is non-guaranteed. I just wonder, look, I'm just, this is as disappointing a loss as we have seen from any team in a really long time. So it's probably not the best time to start playing team building, but it is, here we are.
Yeah, but if you're going to compare this, I think a good comparison to this is the 2007 Mavs. Even though 2007 Dirk was better than anyone on this Suns team. But same kind of thing where you knew after the loss that it was going to take not just a year, like it was going to be a different looking team before they recovered from it. Like nobody left that 2007 playoffs and said, watch out for those guys next year. It was more like, whoa, what's going to happen to these guys? That's how I feel about the Suns loss. This is a what's going to happen to these guys kind of loss.
I don't know. So would you say, hey, all right, well, Chris got hurt again. Let's just run it back. I mean, I do think that there are owners that if they had this profile of a team, they would just say, hey, let's just run it back. Like we're probably still going to win a bunch of games and we have a chance. And who knows, maybe the ball bounces our way this time. But
you can't run it back. I think you have to figure out the Crowder, Saric campaign. That's $25 million. Can you go get one more vet to put with these guys that you can trust as one of your five guys? Can you prove the Crowder spot? Or you go the other way and maybe you start rebooting.